A U.S. Marine remains locked in a Mexican jail where he's been held for nearly 6 months. On Tuesday, surveillance video of the day Sergeant Tahmooressi accidentally crossed the border will finally be released. Our own Greta Susteren has been following the story, had a chance to sit down with her, get her take on that tape release.
Well, there's no hope he's going to get out on Tuesday. Tuesday's just another hearing, but what the judge is finally going to see is there are 18 surveillance cameras, and each one has about 90 minutes of tape, and there's no audio on them, and the judge has ordered that the Border Patrol people bring that tape to the courtroom, and they're going to watch it. Now, it's not going to necessarily tell all, but it could corroborate, because is he acting obnoxious, deceitful, like he's trying to get away and hide something, or is he very sort of submissive and obedient and giving directions as he pointed the car to show where the guns are? So it may tend to corroborate and be helpful, but it's not the end all. But it should have been done months ago.
What is the status of his legal team? Because we know there have been some changes along the way. Is that maybe why we didn't see the evidence before now?
Well, it's part of the system. Look, I mean, our system could be a lot better. However, ours is much more transparent. You can move it a lot faster, and you can actually get the media into the courtroom. The fact that you can't bring the media into the courtroom, where they say because the size of the courtroom is rather appalling, so not a lot is known going on inside. This is his third set of lawyers. He's had them for quite some time. And the lawyers are focusing more on the sort of constitutional, the Mexican constitutional issues, saying that the way he was treated in the beginning was bad, so you throw everything out, including the arrest and the charges and everything else. But I think substantively, the question is did he have the intent to violate the Mexican law? And did he have the intent to go into Mexico with those guns? If it was an accidental turn into Mexico, he doesn't have the intent, so he can't commit the crime.
Yeah, and that's necessary to most criminal convictions, is that you have that intent component of it. Okay, so in the meantime, you've raised a lot of attention about this. You've been one of the biggest voices on this, and yet we've seen a lot of American leaders have interaction with Mexico, including the Mexican president, our president, other actions that have gone on, other meetings. And yet, I always scour when we get the pool reports and the president's had a phone call with somebody in Mexico to see, is there any mention of the sergeant? And there hasn't been, to my knowledge. Do you think the U.S. could be taking a more active role? The State Department, the White House, somebody?
Look, this is one of our Marines. He volunteered for us. He did 2 terms in Afghanistan. He got hit by an IED. He has PTSD. You know, at the very least, we could put some diplomatic pressure on Mexico, at the very minimum, to push this thing through a lot faster. This has been since March 31st. Some people think that we should use diplomatic pressure to bounce him out of that prison. I mean, I just want to push the thing quickly. And for the life of me, I can't figure out, you know, we don't leave our Marines behind, and he wasn't on official duty at the time. For the life of me, I can't figure out, he has PTSD. I mean, why don't we want to do everything we can to bring him back home? Now, remember, he went to our VA hospital to get help before he went to the Mexican prison into Mexico. You know, in our VA hospital, that has not been a lot of great shakes in a lot of locations. So, there's a lot going on in this case, and so we should at least have a big heart. Bring our Marine home.
What do you think is our hesitation of some kind of official response or intervention?
I think probably we don't want to Bigfoot Mexico. I suspect that. But we Bigfoot a lot of countries for a lot of reasons. And secondly, we can do trades. We can do deals. There are lots of things that can be done behind closed doors. I don't know. At first I thought, well, maybe there's a lot I don't know about the case, and maybe I'm making a mistake going down the limb, which is why I've taken the cautious approach. I said, let's just accelerate the process. Let's get his trial going quickly, because however the cards fall, they may fall. And I've actually driven that, and that turn, I'll tell you, you would have made that turn? I would have made that turn. I mean, because it was to turn in the direction of San Diego, only it loops around and goes to Mexico, and there's no way out of it once you make that turn. So, I thought, is there something I don't know? Because I don't want to go out on a limb if there's something going on. But remember, they didn't charge him with smuggling guns, which would be a more serious offense. They charged him with possession. And he has a right to possess them in the United States. And it's an accidental turn into the country. So how do you have the intent to violate the law? Here's another thing. Is that Montel Williams, who wrote a letter. Montel Williams, by the way, graduate of the Naval Academy, 22 years in the Marines. And they sent him back some pictures trying to defend what happened. And the pictures, though, are taken north of where he made the turn. So, I mean, even the answer they gave to Montel Williams is just factually wrong. Are they not looking at the facts? I don't know. But it's, this is an accidental turn. I'm convinced of that. I don't know what else is going on in this man's head.
Well, I know that folks who are following this case closely very much appreciate your attention to it as well. So thanks for giving us an update, and we'll be watching this week.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot to our Marines and everybody else who serves in the military, and their spouses and families who sacrifice so much.
So
thank you.
Thanks, Greta.